Good?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're good.
Okay, hi. My name is Kitty Correal. I went to Prague this past January 3rd through the 9th to attend the International Youth Leadership Conference that's held there twice a year. And this was the 17th IWLC event. So I'm going to talk about it. First off, I got a lot of help from Bonner and then from the Community Engagement Office to go. I was first asked to go by one of our professors here who actually was asked to speak at the conference, and she wanted to take a student with her. So she came in here and I got picked, and I was very lucky to go because it was probably the best experience I think I've ever had in my life. Um, what we did was I got on a plane. It took about 16 hours to get there. When we got there, I got to meet a lot of people right away, and I got to go out in Prague and spend time with them and go to like restaurants and whatnot. And then we get back and we registered, and we all split up into different groups. Now, my group had about 12 people in it, and just to give you an example of the types of countries that were there, just my group of 12 people out of over 80 participants, there were people from Albania, Canada, America, India, Luxembourg, Romania, South Africa, Australia, Georgia, and Malta. So the list kind of went on and on and on because there were so many other countries that were in other groups there as well. So the first night we just got to get to know each other, and the second day um, we started with a simulation of the United Nations Security Council. The next day we woke up. We had to be in our groups at 9 o'clock in the morning. Actually, let me backtrack. The first night we had an opening speaker from the European Parliament there, and an opening speaker from the Anglo-American School in the Czech Republic that helps support this conference every year. So then the next morning we got up and we were in our groups at 9 o'clock, and we started working on our simulation of the Security Council for the United Nations. Now, this simulation worked with the conflict that happened in Georgia, between Georgia and Russia over the areas of South Ossetia and Abkhazia. And basically we all split up and got a country and had to come up with an agreement of the UN's reaction to what happened in this nation. And it was pretty interesting to do that and get like firsthand experience with it. The next day we went off into separate embassies. My group got to go to the Swiss embassy. And later we also got to go into the Czech Senate and listen to somebody talk who was actually the Czech foreign minister from. So the next day we got to go into town a bit. We went to go visit different embassies. My group got to go see the Swiss embassy, and we talked to the Swiss ambassador there for a good hour. And it was very interesting to find out Switzerland's stand on a lot of stuff that's been going on, and their stand with the United Nations and whatnot, how they're not part of it. We also got to go to the Czech Senate and listen to the Czech's foreign minister talk for about an hour, and that was really, really interesting. We all got to sit in the seats that actual members of the parliament get to sit in, so it was very cool. And then later that night, we did another simulation of the International Criminal Court. And this simulation was probably the funnest simulation to do because we were doing a case of it was a case to bring Omar al-Bashir, the president of Sudan, to court in front of the International Criminal Court due to the things that are happening in the Darfur region of Sudan, all the genocide that's going on right now. So my group was the defense, so we got to make up different pieces of evidence to bring up to not bring al-Bashir to court and say that it wasn't his fault, the stuff that's going on in the Darfur region. So we had to bring in different witnesses, and we could bring in absolutely anybody we wanted to. And so we had Santa Claus come in saying that he was on the nice list. We had a girl who played a prostitute of al-Bashir come in and talk about how he would never do something like that and whatnot. And it was just really cool making up all that kind of stuff and then bringing it in front of like a court, quote unquote, and then actually having to make a decision in the end for the judges. So that was really cool. And the next 2 days, we started doing a simulation on the European Parliament, which was the biggest thing that we did there. And it was very, very interesting because my group was the biggest political party in the European Parliament. So we were also playing the role of chairmanship in the Parliament. So we had one of our people was the president of the entire Parliament running the whole thing. We had a secretary, we had committee hearings, and I got to be a chair of the committee, which was really interesting to do. And we had people presenting changes and amendments and whatnot, and all the other participants from the other groups played different political parties as well. And it just got really, really interesting the way we played it all out. So that was pretty much the daytime. At night we had a culture event. We also had different mixers to try and get to know everybody, and those were probably some of the really best times of the conference, because you learned a lot during the day, but then at nighttime when you're spending all this time with people, you got to learn so much about their culture, so much about what they do at school, what they do in their country, and noticing the differences. And this conference really made it feel like for those 4.5 days that you were with these people, borders just didn't exist in this bubbling area, this bubble that we all were in. In Prague, there were just no borders with any of us. We were all so comfortable with each other, and it didn't matter. I think the best part about this conference was the fact that it was run by youth leaders for youth leaders. Nobody who organized this conference was over 28 years old. Somebody was 35, but she was only a part of the conference for a day or two, and she didn't do too much. But most of the people were under 30, and they basically ran the whole conference. Our facilitators, my facilitator was 21, and I'm almost 21, and we actually had participants in the group who were older than him, but it made no difference. It was still, he was our facilitator, and it was really interesting to see that type of reaction and whatnot. So it was cool, all the stuff that they had planned out with us for the embassies and stuff. And we would have reception at the PricewaterhouseCoopers where we'd hear speakers. We had ambassadors from different embassies there, heads of NGOs there to talk to us, and we were on the rooftop so we could see all of Prague, which was absolutely beautiful in the wintertime, even if it was freezing cold. But so all in all, this was really, I want to say again, this was really the best experience I think I've ever had, and I think anybody, whether you're a Bonner student or not, you really should take advantage of this and attend it. It happens twice a year, and you can always get help for it. It's just truly an amazing, amazing thing that I got to take part of, and I'm really grateful for it. So, good.